The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. Picture this. You're 18, fresh out of high school, clutching your life savings of $5,000. Every dollar earned pushing lawnmowers and doing odd jobs. Then your buddy calls about pizza, beer, and a movie night. Sounds perfect, right? You show up ready to relax. But surprise, it's not a movie. It's a business opportunity video for home water filters. While everyone else zones out, something clicks in your brain. This could be your ticket to independence, to making a real difference. Before you can talk yourself out of it, you've written a check for the whole $5,000. Days later, 2 massive pallets of water filters completely take over your dad's garage. He can't even park his car. "Get this crap out of here," he tells you. "Go sell them." So you hit the pavement with all the enthusiasm in the world, knocking on doors, pitching clean water like your life depends on it. After an exhausting day of rejections, your sales total? A big, fat 0. The crushing weight of failure settles in. Maybe Dad was right. Maybe you're not cut out for this. In desperation, you do what any dejected teenage entrepreneur does. You call Grandma. She's always believed in you. You launch into your pitch, and before you finish, she says, "That sounds wonderful, dear. I'll take one." Better yet, you convince her to upgrade to the premium under-sink model, and you'll install it yourself. That one sale becomes 18. You're unstoppable. You've cracked the code. Then the phone rings. Your grandparents are in Hawaii when their downstairs neighbor calls, frantic. Water is gushing through the ceiling. A plumber finds the problem in under a minute. A critical gasket installed backward. That rookie installer? You. And those 18 units you sold throughout the building? 18 ticking time bombs. This isn't some made-up cautionary tale. It's exactly how Darren Hardy's entrepreneurial journey began, and it perfectly captures what his book, The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, is really about. This isn't your typical business strategy guide. It's a survival manual for the gut-wrenching, unpredictable, absolutely thrilling ride of building something from scratch. For anyone who's dreamed of starting a business, tasted the bitterness of failure, or wondered if they really have what it takes, this book is your golden ticket. By the time we're done today, you'll understand what it actually costs to take this ride, and you'll have the essential skills not just to survive it, but to throw your hands up and enjoy every terrifying second. So what does it really take to climb aboard this ride? What's the actual height requirement for entrepreneurship? It's not your bank account. It's not some fancy degree or a flawless business plan. According to Darren Hardy, it's something far more essential. It's love. Steve Jobs once said that starting a business is so brutally hard that any rational person would quit unless they absolutely loved it. Elon Musk famously described entrepreneurship as staring into the abyss and eating glass. Who volunteers for that? Only someone crazy in love. But Hardy's talking about something deeper than the surface-level passion people casually throw around. He argues that waiting to find your passion is just another excuse. Passion isn't lost somewhere out there. It's already inside you, like electricity in the wires. You just need to know which switch to flip. He gives us 4 of them. The first switch is being passionate about what you do. Everyone focuses on this one, but it's misleading. Hardy doesn't sugarcoat it. No matter what you do, it's going to suck about 95% of the time. Even Richard Branson and Oprah spend most of their days in endless meetings, traveling, reviewing contracts, not the glamorous moments we see. Relying only on this switch is a fast track to burnout. The second, and far more powerful switch, is being passionate about why you do it. Hardy admits he doesn't love the constant flights, the deadlines, or the time away from family, but he's deeply in love with his why. Empowering entrepreneurs and being a source of hope and abundance. When your why is strong enough, it carries you through that difficult 95%. Mark Twain nailed it. The 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. The third switch is being passionate about how you do it. This means bringing excellence and joy to even the mundane stuff. Hardy tells the story of Letitia, a housekeeper he and his wife hired. She didn't just clean. She performed her work with real passion, meticulously handling every detail, even color-coding his socks and underwear. She wasn't doing it for applause. She did it for herself, because she loved doing things with excellence. This switch is about finding fulfillment in the quality of your execution. The fourth switch, perhaps the most profound, is being passionate about who you do it for. This is the motivation that comes from serving others, your family, your children, your community. Hardy shares the heartbreaking story of his friend, Todd Duncan. Todd was a successful author and speaker who'd built a wealthy life. Then, in a series of devastating blows, he lost his company, his income, and his reputation in a bad business deal. As if that wasn't enough, right in the middle of this chaos, his wife, the love of his life, was diagnosed with terminal cancer and died a year later. How does someone find the strength to continue after getting beaten down like that? When Hardy asked, Todd's answer had nothing to do with business strategy. It was all about who. He had 2 teenage sons who just lost their mother and were looking to him for strength. One day, his oldest son found him breaking down and said, "Dad, we need you. You gotta do what you teach. You gotta keep going." In that moment, Todd realized he had to do it for them. His sons became all the motivation he needed. They were his powerful who. But what if you're not the warm and fuzzy type? What if passion feels too soft? Hardy says there's another side to this coin. Your unstoppable drive can also come from anger. Almost every great achievement in history began with someone getting fed up and saying, "Enough." Think of David and Goliath, or Apple versus IBM. A good enemy gives you a reason to push harder than you ever would otherwise. If you love something, you naturally hate what threatens it. Love health? You hate disease. Love equality? You hate injustice. Hardy challenges us to find our fight. What injustice in your industry or your world are you willing to stand up against? That righteous anger can be powerful, high-octane fuel. Once you've found your love or your fight, you're ready to climb into the car. But as you do, buckle that shoulder harness tight, because you're about to get thrashed around. Hardy has a simple, direct message for anyone choosing this path. You're a freak, and he means it as the highest compliment. An entrepreneur is, by definition, a person who is obsessed with or unusually enthusiastic about a specified interest. You're stepping out of line from the 90% of people who choose the normal employee path, and the herd doesn't like it when someone tries to leave. He shares this powerful analogy about crabs in a trap. A single crab can easily climb out of a cage, but when the cage is full, the other crabs will pull down any individual trying to escape. They'll even tear off its claws to keep it from leaving. Humans, Hardy warns, are no different. When you decide to become an entrepreneur, the people closest to you, your friends, your family, may become your harshest critics. They'll pull you down with doubt, ridicule, and sarcasm. Why? Not because they don't love you, but because your courage acts like a giant mirror, reflecting their own fears and inaction back at them. It's easier to mock you than to follow you. So how do you handle this? Hardy offers 5 strategies to embrace your freaky nature. First, stop trying to be likable, he tells of an epiphany while watching President Obama's re-election speech. Here was one of the most powerful people in the world, yet nearly half his own country disliked him. The lesson was crystal clear. If you want to be a changemaker, you have to shake up the status quo, and that will inevitably make you unpopular. If everyone around you is happy with you, you're not doing great work. Disapproval is often a sign you're doing something right. Second, become laughable. Every great revolutionary and innovator got laughed at in the beginning. People laughed at Elon Musk when he wanted to build a private rocket company. They laughed at Walt Disney when he wanted to turn 160 acres of orange groves into the happiest place on earth. They laughed at Oprah when she wanted to move from tabloid television to inspirational programming. If nobody's laughing at your idea, it's probably not revolutionary enough. Third, you must define success on your own terms. Hardy shares a deeply personal story about buying his dream home, a magnificent house overlooking San Francisco Bay. He'd spent his whole life trying to impress his tough, football coach father, and he was certain this house would finally do it. He orchestrated a perfect reveal, bringing his dad into his new office with floor-to-ceiling glass, showcasing a breathtaking panoramic view. "Dad," he said proudly, "what do you think?" His father wasn't looking at the view. He was squinting at the 12-foot-high ceiling. "Look," he said. "There's a water stain on the ceiling up there." In that moment, Hardy's heart broke. But through that devastation came liberation. He realized nothing he could ever do would change his father's perspective. He was freed from the burden of living for someone else's approval. That day, he decided to define success for himself. Fourth, get a grip. You have to realize how little other people's opinions truly matter. Hardy shares this striking fact. At the average person's funeral, only about 10 people will cry. And the number one factor determining how many people show up? The weather. If it's raining, most people skip it. When you realize this, the fear of rejection from strangers or casual acquaintances loses its power. Before worrying about someone's opinion, ask yourself, would this person cry at my funeral? If the answer is no, their opinion doesn't matter. And fifth, reduce your recovery time. On this ride, you will get knocked down. Failure is mandatory. The difference between winners and losers isn't whether they fall, but how quickly they get back up. What used to bum Hardy out for 2 weeks, he whittled down to 2 days, then 2 hours, then 20 minutes. Now, he gives himself about 2 minutes to sulk before getting back on the horse. With your mindset fortified, it's time to fuel the motor of your roller coaster. And in business, there's only one fuel that matters: sales. Many entrepreneurs hate the idea of selling. They want to focus on creating the best product or building the best team. But Hardy argues this is a fatal mistake. It's not the best product that wins. It's the product that sells the best. McDonald's isn't the best restaurant in the world, but it's the biggest. Apple wasn't first to create an MP3 player, but they dominated through awe-inspiring sales and marketing. Nothing happens in a business until a sale is made. It's your number one job, all day, every day. Hardy admits he once avoided selling at all costs. He tells this hilarious story about how, early in his career, he'd spend hours wandering through Nordstrom, dreaming of the clothes he'd buy when successful, all while avoiding the hard work of actually making sales calls. His prospecting trips came to an abrupt end when a mall cop escorted him out, suspecting he was shoplifting, and told him, "Shouldn't you be out selling something?" It was a wake-up call. You can't hide from sales. Your business depends on it. But how do you become great at selling if you hate it? You reframe it. Hardy shares 9 steps to build your sales muscles, and the first is most important. Don't kill your customers. Stop selling. Start helping. He recalls labeling his prospect list a hit list. A mentor saw it and told him, "No one wants to be your next hit. When you think of people that way, you treat them that way." He had Hardy cross it out and write, "Families I'm going to help next." This simple shift from getting to giving changed everything. Once you're focused on helping, you need empathy. Hardy says to get in bed with your customer, mentally of course. Before they fall asleep at night, what are they worried about? What are their deepest fears and hopes? When you understand this, you can speak directly to their hearts. And you discover what they need by asking questions, not by talking. He warns us, don't be a first date Fred. Fred was a friend who could get any woman to go on a first date but never got a second because he spent the entire night talking about himself and what he wanted. The old saying, find a need and fill it, is wrong. The correct version is, find a perceived need and help someone fulfill it. If the customer doesn't perceive the need, there is no need. Once you understand their perceived need, you must sell like John Lennon. This isn't the Beatle, but a real estate agent in Miami who sold over $3.7 billion worth of property in just 6 buildings on a single street. His secret? He never sold the same apartment twice. For one client who loved vintage cars, he sold a $4 million parking space that happened to come with an apartment. For another, he sold a $6 million closet. He discovered what was most important to each client and connected his product directly to that desire. Hardy continues with other powerful sales strategies. Never make a cold call. Instead, find a bridge through a warm referral. Don't sell one by one. Sell in bulk by targeting influencers who can bring you entire networks of customers. When you do go after a prize client, use a shock and awe campaign to stand out from the competition. But don't waste that energy on everyone. Sell to the best, forget the rest. Focus on the top 10% of clients who generate 90% of your profits. And finally, narrow your focus even further to your dream 50 inches, the handful of key clients or partners who could single-handedly change your business's future. Now that your business has fuel, it's time to fill the empty seats on your roller coaster. It's time to build a team. This, Hardy warns, is where most entrepreneurs make their costliest mistakes. We're hopeless romantics who fall in love with anyone showing enthusiasm for our idea. We hire on hope, but you can't hire hope. You must hire evidence. He tells a story about hiring an executive assistant named Amanda. She was a huge fan of his work, had read all his books, and gushed with enthusiasm. He hired her on the spot, but she was completely incompetent. She lacked basic skills for the job, and employing her became more work than doing it himself. Eventually, he had his sister-in-law, a high-level executive assistant, take over the hiring process. She recommended Maggie. Maggie wasn't a superfan. She didn't light his hair on fire with passion, but she was a rock star at her job. The lesson was learned: hire for skill, not for flattery. Your mission is to fill your company with A players. Good is not good enough. B players hire C players, Steve Jobs warned, leading to a bozo explosion. A players, on the other hand, attract other A players. They're the ones who win. And best of all, A players are free. They generate far more value than they cost. So how do you attract them, especially if you can't compete with big corporate salaries? You have to know what they truly want, and it's probably not what you think. Money is number 5 on the list. The top 4 things A players look for are working with other great people, having a great challenge, seeing a clear opportunity for advancement, and the chance for personal growth. If you build a company that offers these things, you'll attract top talent. And finally, you must embrace the F-factor fun. But this isn't about ping-pong tables in the break room. It's about creating meaningful work. As one highly successful CEO told Hardy, what makes work fun is doing meaningful work. With a team of A players buckled in behind you, there's only one seat left. The one in the very front. It's the scariest, but also the most exhilarating. It's the leader's seat. And as the leader, you are the single biggest constraint on your company's growth. The pace of the pack is determined by the leader. You must lead by example. Your team won't listen to what you say. They'll watch what you do. You're always on stage. A true 21st century leader understands 4 key qualities. First, as we've said, they set the pace. Second, they're willing to do what's unpopular. The aim of a leader isn't to be liked, but to lead. Third, they grow others. A leader's job isn't just to grow a business, but to grow people. You must find the seeds of greatness in each team member and help them flourish. And fourth, great leaders let others lead. A billionaire once gave Hardy his 3-word secret to success: be a quitter. Your goal is to delegate and quit every task you're currently doing, except one: being the visionary leader. As your team takes over, the roller coaster begins picking up speed. This is where productivity becomes essential. But busyness and hard work don't equal success. You must focus on your success vitals, just as a doctor checks a patient's vital signs. First are your vital functions. The 1 to 3 things that only you can do that produce the biggest results. Dr. Oz doesn't prep the operating room. He performs the few critical minutes of open-heart surgery and leaves. Hardy used a stopwatch to track his own vital functions in his real estate business and was shocked to find that on a 16-hour workday, he spent less than 20 minutes on his most vital tasks. What's your time worth per hour? If you're doing a task you could pay someone else less to do, you're losing money. Second are your vital priorities. Like a lion tamer who paralyzes a lion with the 4 legs of a stool, we become paralyzed when we have too many priorities. The secret of superachievers is having 3 or fewer. Warren Buffett's method is to write down all your priorities, circle the top 3, and then throw the rest of the list away. This requires mastering the most important skill of success, saying no. Third are your vital metrics. You must track your progress. Hardy offers a simple, massive transformation formula. Identify your 3 biggest goals, determine the 1 or 2 key habits needed for each, and then track your performance every single day to prevent drifting off course. And fourth are your vital improvements. Knowledge isn't power, action is. It's better to read one great book 32 times than to read 32 different books and apply none of them. Invest in yourself and go deep with what works. As the ride reaches its peak speed, you come to the final, most thrilling part, your hands in the air. This is about facing fear. Hardy compares the entrepreneurial journey to his first ride on Space Mountain, a roller coaster in complete darkness. You can't see the twists and drops coming, which makes it terrifying but also exhilarating. He reminds us that fear isn't real. It's an illusion created by our ancient, primitive brain that's still wired to see predators behind every bush. Your brain sends the same panic signals when you're about to make a sales call as it did for our ancestors facing a lion. To conquer this, you need to hack your brain. First, get real. You're not going to die from making a phone call. Second, realize it's the fear of fear you actually fear. The anticipation is always worse than the event itself. Third, all you need is 20 seconds of courage. For just 20 seconds, shut off your brain and run right at the thing you fear. That's all it takes to break through the initial resistance. Fourth, focus on the task, not the outcome. Don't let your mind magnify the stakes. Fifth, habituate yourself to fear. Do the thing you fear over and over until it loses its power. And finally, make failure fun. Success and failure are 2 sides of a pendulum. You cannot have great success without experiencing great failure. The more you're willing to fail, the farther the pendulum will swing into success on the other side. Your goal should be to outfail your competition. As the ride finally slows down, you pass by a camera. The flash goes off. What will your expression be? A scream of terror or a smile of exhilaration? This brings us to the final, most important lesson of the book. Don't miss the point. Don't want what you don't want. It's easy to get caught up chasing someone else's definition of success, like Hardy wanting to be Richard Branson, only to realize that life wouldn't make him happy. And don't miss the point by keeping the wrong score. He tells the story of his father's mentor, a wealthy real estate magnate, who, on his deathbed, grabbed Hardy's arm and said, "Don't miss the point. I had too many houses. What I needed was more people. I was playing the wrong game." The point of this incredible, terrifying, exhilarating ride isn't just to get to the end. The point is to enjoy it, to seek your own greatness, to see all that you can become with all that you've been given. The ride is about the thrill of the journey itself, with all its gut-wrenching drops and breathtaking peaks. And if you can remember that, no matter where the camera catches you, you'll be smiling. The Entrepreneur roller coaster stands apart from the crowded shelves of business books for one simple, powerful reason: its brutal honesty. Darren Hardy doesn't sell a fantasy. He doesn't promise a smooth, predictable path to success, paved with secret formulas and easy hacks. Instead, he gives you a helmet, secures your shoulder harness, and tells you to brace for impact. Because the ride you're about to take will be the most thrilling and terrifying experience of your life. What makes this book so resonant is that it focuses on the part of entrepreneurship most often ignored: the emotional and psychological journey. Business schools can teach you how to read a balance sheet, but they can't prepare you for the crushing feeling of getting rejected by every single person you talk to on your first day. They can teach you marketing theory, but they can't prepare you for the moment your own family tells you your dream is foolish. This is where Hardy's wisdom shines. He acts as a mentor who's been through the fire and has come back not just to share his victories, but to show you his scars. The central metaphor of the roller coaster isn't just a clever title. It's the perfect description of the entrepreneurial experience. There are the slow, agonizing climbs of uncertainty, the euphoric peaks of a breakthrough, the stomach-dropping plummets of failure, and the dizzying corkscrews of unforeseen challenges. By framing the journey this way, Hardy normalizes the chaos. He gives you permission to feel scared, to feel overwhelmed, and to feel like quitting. But he doesn't let you stay there. He equips you with the mindset and practical tools to get back up, faster and stronger each time. The most powerful takeaway, for me, is the relentless focus on personal responsibility and internal fortitude. Success isn't about external factors like the economy or your competition. It's about your internal state. It's about your willingness to face fear, your discipline to focus on what's vital, your courage to be unpopular, and your wisdom to define success on your own terms. This book is a call to action to stop being a passenger in your own life and to grab the controls of the ride. If you're going to take just a few things from our time together today, let it be these. First, find your why. Whether it's a deep love or a righteous fight, find the emotional fuel that will carry you through the 95% of the journey that's tough. Second, practice 20 seconds of courage. Your biggest breakthroughs are sitting just on the other side of a brief moment of bravery. Don't let your ancient brain hold you back. And third, define the point of your ride before you get on it. Start with the end in mind. What do you want your legacy to be? Let that be your compass, and you'll never lose your way. That was a summary of The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. We've explored the thrilling highs and terrifying lows of the journey today, but I'll be honest with you, a summary can only guide you to the entrance of the amusement park. The real magic happens when you step into the car and feel the ride for yourself. It's in the quiet moments of reading, when a particular story or simple phrase connects with your own fears and dreams in a way you didn't expect. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about today has ignited a spark in you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning business tactics. It's an experience that can genuinely change how you view your own potential and the wild, wonderful ride of life. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book here on Billionaire's Bookshelf. Let's keep growing and keep riding together.